everybody, and welcome to CROCH-EH, a Canadian Crochet Podcast. I am your hostess, Claudia. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm just going to warn you right off the bat, you're going to hear crunching and munching and walking because the dogs are doing their dog things. They got bones. They're very happy. Hello, Ember. So, yep, that's what you hear in the background. It's nothing nefarious going on. It is just dog stuff. So, that's that. I hope you guys all had a very good week. Nothing too exciting to report here. We've been doing some painting in our house, so I will probably show you that next week at the end of the episode, just because we're not quite done and it looks half done, and I don't really want to show see, that's the bone sound there, the half done things. So let's hop into it today. I will get started with finished items because I have two that I can show you guys. One is I finished my purple t-shirt. It is a bit cropped. I wanted to wear this with dresses, or I have worn these with an undershirt that's long and it gives that layered look, so I did that. This is the Originally Lovely crochet t-shirt pattern. Yes, it is still covered in hair. It has yet to go through the washing machine. I don't typically block my clothes. I usually just wash them, and when they're done, they're done. This was made with 100% merino superwash, so we'll be fine with that, from Estelle Brands, and the color was the number, so I don't know what it's called, but it is a lovely aubergine color. Knit with, oh, that side's table. Oh my goodness. Okay, but just believe me, it just had little itty bitty sleeves. So that's that. That is the one item that is finished now. The next item, this one has been washed and gone through the dryer. It was made with sock yarn. I was working on it a week ago, 2 weeks ago? No, I can't remember. Whatever the last episode was when I just had a sleeve left to do, so I finished that up. So here is yet another, same pattern, the Originally Lovely t-shirt. This one is more cropped than the other one because this one I was like, definitely I am only going to wear this with dresses. I like to have a t-shirt top over my dresses. Even if I have a small band, I still like to have something to cover my shoulders at work. I just feel more comfortable that way. I have worn them without, and it's totally fine. I feel fine. But also wintertime, I like to be a little bit cozy, and the sun shines into my office a lot. So I don't need something huge to keep me warm. I just like to have a little something. So there is that. This is Patton's Croy sock yarn. So it's a titch scratchy, but it will have good, Amber's gonna wear it on her head. It will have good resilience for life stuff. I made the sleeves a little bit longer on this one than the other shirt, but yes, exactly same pattern, just a little bit shorter. That's that. That's all I have to show you for finished items. I only have two, but I think that is pretty good compared to basically what I have done all previously to this. I'm just grabbing things, sorry. Oh shoot, I forgot one thing. I'll be right back. No puppies. Here we go. I have a few procurements. I purchased, do I still have all the labels? I have three. I purchased these little mini skeins, and I'm going to use them up right away. There they are. They're all ancient. I kept the labels, and I remember which goes with which, except for the one that I don't have the label for. Okay, so 3 of these are just called Passionate. I guess because they're probably 8-ply, that would make sense. So these 3 here, these are the Passionate. This one is a sock NATO twister, so it's a little bit different. The colors that I have for the Passionate, this one is called Contented Grapes. This is it. And this one is called Enchanted Forest. No, sorry, this one's not called Enchanted Forest. That's wrong. That's completely wrong. This one is called Deep Space. It's this very pretty dark blue with purple in it. It's very, very lightly speckled, I guess. It's not 100% continuous solid color through. It's got a little bit of variance, but it's very, very pretty. And the last one of the Passionate that I can't find the label for, this one is called Lance aux Meadows, inspired by Newfoundland. It's very pretty. I like this. It's very green and brown, and it looks like the Viking huts on Lance aux Meadows. Okay, and then the sock NATO twister is, there we go, this Enchanted Forest. So this one is slightly different than these ones. You can see it's a little bit fluffier. They're the same weight. I believe they're both 50 grams. Oh, 20 grams. I was nowhere near. Both 20 grams. But this guy has 68 meters and this guy has 79.5 meters. So there is just less distance with this guy versus this guy, but I like them both and they will be fine for the project that I have for them to use. I have decided that I am going to use my mini skeins. I'm going to go pick some up kind of once a month type of thing just to see what there is in the store. And I'm making a blanket. So we will just move on, I guess, into that. So I started making this wavy blanket with the mini skeins that I previously had. I don't remember the colors. They were also Ancient Arts. Yes, these were Ancient Arts as well. That I do remember that. That's kind of one of my favorite go-to brands for these mini skeins just because they're so pretty. So I've used a couple of colors so far. All lovely. And I'm just working on that. So this is a simple one row repeat, I guess, double crochet stitch, and every 10 stitches I will either do join 2 together or crochet or a double crochet, chain, double crochet in the top. So the chain, double crochet, or sorry, I messed that up really badly. Double crochet, chain, double crochet makes the top here, and you put that into the chain stitch of your previous row, and then to get your valley instead of the mountain, I do join at the top. So you would do kind of like half of a double crochet in your one stitch. I skip the next one, and then half of a double crochet in the next one to join them together to make the space here at the bottom. The space at the bottom here is not quite as noticeable, but I think once I block it and do all of that stuff, because I will probably block this one, it will be more noticeable. But I mean, even if it's not, I still really like how it looks. It's a gentle wave. I had started making one previously and the wave was like crazy tall like that. And I was like, oh, I don't really like that, but I much prefer this. It's looking nice. This is just kind of a thing that I want to do. So I got little bits and bobs left over for the end of that. Or from the ends of these, which is not like, it's not very much. The balls are like maybe that big, only a few meters. So I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with those. But I will keep them. Maybe I will make my own yarn out of the yarn scraps. This is the color that I am using right now. I don't have the label for this at all right now. It's long gone, but it's pretty. It's like a, I don't know, springtime color, I would say. It's got brown and blue and green, and it's got all the colors really. Like, it's really pretty. It's great. I love it. Love it a lot. So I will be adding those little mini skeins I just showed you into this blanket, and hopefully I will have some more progress to report on for that. I'm always excited about a new blanket. So I haven't touched that other blanket that I mentioned a month ago, whatever it was. Yeah, I haven't bothered with it. And again, the winter hasn't been that cold, so I haven't wanted to make things that are like cozy and like warm and wrap me up. That is that. So that is one thing that I am working on. We'll jump back into procurements. Or will we? No, sorry, we're gonna move on. I would love to show you guys something that I made. This is just a swatch. This is not in anything. If you recall last week, we saw the travesty that was my Tunisian crochet project that I was working on, and it was just all kinds of awful. It was terrible. So I was like, okay, you know what? First things first, I'm going to get a fairly inexpensive hook, and I'm just gonna give it a try again, because I don't have any of these. So I went to my local yarn store and I ended up getting this. It's a Chow-Gu 8mm bamboo L/11. What is this called? It's not the interchangeable because this doesn't come off. Swivel, that's it. It's got the swivel. So I can turn this all like this and it doesn't go all crazy. It's got the little bead at the end so that nothing falls off of it. It's got a goodly length cord. This is really all that the lady had at the time, which is fine. The one thing I didn't love is that when I first got home, the cord was really quite hard. And I know it's cold, it's winter, it's going to be a little bit hard. So what I did is I put it into my very cheap but lovely, it works, heating pad that's got vinyl on the outside. So I put this on top, and then I folded it over on itself so it was like a sandwich to just warm this up, and then I was like this with it and everything. So it's never gonna be straight, but this is so much better than it was when I got it. So I'm not sure if that's a common problem with Xiaogu or if that is just something that these cords are like. I used to have some connected knitting needles that I got from Walmart that had this same sort of like PVC, or actually I don't even know what this is made of, but some sort of industrial-esque plastic. And those, gosh, I could never get those warmed up. I would have to like heat them with I would heat them with my blow dryer on the hottest setting to get it to like be a little bit more malleable, and I would, go through and I would do this to just try and work the material, and it would last for a little while, but every time I picked up the projects, it was like they were just so hard. So I got rid of all of my knitting needles because that's basically all I had was those connected ones, but still have an old pair of like separate wooden ones that I got in a kit or something. I can't remember, but anyway, that's not what we're talking about. That's that. So I will say that seemed to make a huge difference in the way I was able to manipulate the yarn and then consequently this piece of fabric once it was made. So this made it a million times easier than that crazy long one that I had. And I'm sure that long one is useful for some projects. I'm not too sure, but for me it was awful, and I couldn't. So I would like to say, look at it's not perfect. See, there's a little wow here, and I think that was probably just my tension on my way back. But this is so much more straight. This is so much more straight. This is nice. Even the ends are nice. And so what I did here was just the Tunisian single crochet stitch. That's something else I'm gonna have to do, is not only learn how to do these, but what these are called. But perhaps this is a simple stitch. It's just sort of like your very, very basic Tunisian crochet stitch. As a side note, side quest, I just learned now in 2025 that last year Tunisian crochet had this huge insurgence, and I don't know what I was doing because I didn't notice it at all. So I feel like I'm not coming up on the trend, but I mean, I'm not a particularly trendy person, so it's not that big of a deal, really. All that being said, I am very proud of this. Yes, and the back looks lovely, front looks lovely, it looks great. I was practicing again doing it's honeycomb stitch in regular crochet, what was it called? The smock stitch again, with this same ball of yarn. I bought this at Walmart, it's Red Heart, wavelengths maybe, something like that. That's what this is as well, with this hook. The original ball, I believe, called for a 6mm hook, maybe a 5.5. So this is significantly larger than what it called for, but after reading some tips and tricks about avoiding curling from TL Yarn Crafts, it said to try a bigger hook. So while I was looking for a 6, that's probably what I would have started with this, the 8 actually came in handy, and it also, I found that it was fairly easy to keep tension on here as long as I was paying attention to what I was doing. It wasn't a mindless thing that I could just kind of forget. I did have a bit of a learning curve being able to move the fabric on and off of the cord with my hand because I must hold the hook really, really hard, because I would have to, stop, and then I'd push some of them up and whoops, keep going, all of that fun stuff. But all of that being said, this was great. And I've been doing some research into interchangeable sets of Tunisian crochet, because this is something I really feel could elevate some of the things that I like to work on. And I would love to add this to my repertoire, but this is just not gonna be able to take me very far. So I've been looking at different sets that you can get for interchangeable hooks, and there's a company called Lantern Moon that the lady at the yarn store, she had the packet of regular crochet hooks, and she let me take a look at them, and they seem like they would be okay, because I really like point on top. With all of my crochet hooks, this one is pretty good. I actually really, it poked through the yarn very nicely without shearing. I like a pointy crochet hook, and I also like, this one doesn't quite do how I like, but it was satisfactory for learning, and I'm going to keep this one regardless. Is in this part, in the notch here, I like it to go up a little bit more, which the Lantern Moon hooks did. They had it's really good and hooky, because I want to be able to just drag it through without holding and doing both hands. So that is not a procurement I am ready to make yet, but hopefully down the road, once I get a little bit more practice, I'm going to work on some more stitches, and I'm going to make, I think the first project I'm going to make with Canadian Crochet is I'm going to make a bunch of panels like this, but each panel will have a different stitch on it, and then I will sew them together along these sides here. So it'll be like panels that go this way to make a blanket for my husband, because he really likes heavy blankets, and we do have the waffle one on our bed, but I'd like to be able to change that out when I need to wash it, and then because it helps him sleep. He likes weighted blankets. So that is what I'm going to make for a project with this, and I will have to find a yarn that is, I believe this is a 5, because it's not a worsted weight. It's like we're getting into bulky territory here. So that's that. I've had this for, gosh, umpteen years, so glad to be able to put it to use. Okay, so we have flip-flopped, but yes, all of that being said is that I actually worked on it. Having better for me tools worked really well. Also, one thing I liked about this is, sorry to jump around, I like the length of this hook. I've got some prim hooks, and I don't, do I have them with me? No, I don't. I don't like them because where the handle is and then the length of the hook, it's so long for me to hold where you're supposed to hold the handle and then try and work it. If you had big hands, I think it would work really well, but I have little itty bitty hands, so I don't like that. Anyway, moving on. Stuff I'm working on. I haven't started it yet, but I have, oh, what was it? It was loops and threads. It's like that Karen's shiny yarn. Gosh, I can't remember. I will have it all set up and ready for you for next week, but I'm starting on making a sweater for my daughter just because I am in sweater making mood, and I don't need to make a million for myself. And there's a color that I have that I just kept because I love it so much. Does not go with my coloring, goes with her coloring amazing, because she's just this like beautiful mermaid of a human being, and it's a lovely light turquoisey blue, kind of robin's egg, and it's just like, oh, beautiful for her. That is coming up. I am working on, for myself. Haven't I always said, this isn't an episode until I throw a crochet hook on the floor. There we go. I am making myself a raglan sweater, top down. I really just got started on this. So this is I am doing what is called, will it show up? This is called a alpine stitch. There we go. It messed it around in my brain. So see, I can crochet other stuff that's not moss stitch. Just FYI. Have I started? I don't even think I've started on the second row yet. Oh, I did barely. So this is barely my second row of my alpine stitch. This is that Aerofill yarn in, was it this one a pumpkin? This one's just colored, one of them's just called orange, one of them's called pumpkin. But I like it. It's a very lovely burnt orange, very 70s reminiscent color, but I love it. So that, yeah, I literally just got started on this. I measured it fits around my head. I'm going to put a little bit of a collar on just to raise it up a titch, not a ton. But yeah, so I just got started on that. Very new. I was also noodling around with this. So I made a terrible mistake when I could not remember for the life of me what this yarn was called. This is also Ancient Arts yarn something. And again, I can't remember the color. It's all in Ravelry. One thing I started to make, what way does this go? I've messed it up. Okay, what I am making with this is, you know how I love a good triangle shawl. I was out walking with my husband and kids to an event on New Year's Eve, and I had my whole snowsuit on. And one thing that I miss about my particular snowsuit jacket is I like the snowboard ones that you can zip all the way up to here. So the one I have now, it zips to here, which is fine, and then it's got this big hood, which I don't love the hood. Like, the hood is enormous. You can pull the strings down, but there's always like a little gap right here between the tied bit and where the button comes up, and I get a cold neck, so I don't like that. I don't also always want to have the whole big scarf wrapped around because it adds a lot of bulk, which is fine. When I want to be warm, I want to be warm. But it's nice to have something that's little. So I'm going to make, it's I want to say, no, not bandana, a hanker, no, maybe I was right, bandana style? Sure, we're just going to call it that for now. Neck warmer. So I am doing this on the bias with a moss stitch. I know you're sick and tired of moss stitch, but I just thought it was so lovely for this yarn. Oh, it's so pretty. But look at that, it's lovely. So the reason I'm saying this is on the bias, it's on the diagonal, is because instead of this being the bottom and sewing the top here to the other side, I'm making this so this is the bottom, and it'll get bigger and longer and taller. So it'll go here, and then as it gets large enough, it'll go around, and then the other side will mirror this. So it'll look just like it, but it'll be a lot bigger. And then you sew these sides together, well, however wide and long it gets. So this could potentially end up being very, very big. I don't know. We'll see how it goes when it goes. I made a little itty bitty guy. It was about this big, just to test out if my brain was working properly, because I was drawing all kinds of pictures and then I was playing around with yarn and I just couldn't figure out. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna start making shapes the way I know how to make shapes and see how it goes from there. So this has ended up, I'd say, relatively successfully. We will see as time goes on, but I thought it was pretty. This yellowish color right about here, am I pointing to one of them? Yeah, like in this area, there's a yellow color, and it's very similar to the color of my coat. So I just thought that was lovely. Yeah, linen stitch. I am using, what hook for this? And I can't remember if I put this in Ravelry yet. I don't think I did. I would guess I'm using a 4mm hook by the looks of it. I think that's what I'm using, because I didn't want something crazy tight. I didn't need it like sock squished in style. But I'm happy with it so far. I like it. It's pretty. And lo and behold, that brings us to the end of the episode. So that is all that I have got to show you. That is all I am working on. That's all that's going on right now. So we will put an end to it there, I suppose. I would love to thank you so much for being here with me today, and you guys are fantastic, and I'm so happy that you spent a few minutes with me today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell to get notified when I upload my next episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so glad to see you, and I hope you have a great rest of the week.